Hello, it's another beautiful day here in Sedona, Arizona, and today I'm continuing my series, or my two-part series, on this week's edition, which is the top 10 safest towns to live in the state of Arizona. Now, last week I did the top 10 most dangerous cities and towns to live in. This week, the top 10 safest places to live in the state of Arizona. So I want to begin by telling you how I came across these data. There were conflicting data on the web, and so I thought I would just come up with my own list. I went to the FBI website and I downloaded crime statistics for the most recent year, which happened to be 2019. So I downloaded them into a spreadsheet for the state, each town, and I looked at only violent crime, because as much as I do care about property crime, I'm thinking about, like, if your kid is moving to Arizona or if you're moving to Arizona, I'm more concerned about violent crime. So according to the FBI, violent crime consisted of murder, manslaughter, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. So those are things that I care about. Yes, I am concerned about property crime, but for this list, the safest towns in Arizona, what I did is I took the population of the city and then I divided it by the number of violent crimes for that year and came up with the number. And I sorted the number. So in this particular case, we're looking at high numbers. So my highest on the list says that for every 2,000-ish residents, there was one violent crime. And that's what you want. You don't want, like, Globe, which was the most dangerous city in last week's report, where for every 50 people, there was a violent crime. So we're going the other way now. We're looking at the safest, and I'm just gonna, this time, I'm going to start at the safest, and I'm going to work my way down to the least safest. But the very safest town is Kearney. Now, Kearney, I am familiar with Kearney because when I was younger, my dad would go javelina hunting out there, and occasionally I would accompany him on the trip, and it would be fun, big adventure. I'm hanging out with my dad, trying to keep up with him as he hunted javelina. So it's a very small town, 2,170 residents, and there was only one violent crime in that year. Ooh, it happened to be a murder, though. That's interesting. So only one violent crime in 2019 in Kearney, which makes it the safest town to live in Arizona. Oh, I do want to backpedal a little bit, and there were two towns, Springerville, which is in White Mountains, and Pima, which I don't know where that is, that they came with a divide by zero error, and they're tiny. Almost no crime in those two cities too. So technically Springerville would be the safest one, but I'm starting with Kearney because there's where I have actual data that I can work with. So Kearney, top number one safest city to live in. Of course, it's way out in the middle in the desert. I don't know if you want to live there, but it is a safe place to live. Oro Valley, now that's up here. It's kind of out towards past Prescott Valley area, so a northern Arizona town. Oro Valley, very safe. It only has 45,000 residents, and there were only 22 crimes, violent crimes that is, in the year 2019. So Oro Valley, very safe. Thatcher, I'd have to look up where that is. Another safe place that comes in as the third safest town to live in the state of Arizona. Very small town, only 5,100 or so residents. So if you're liking a safe small town, you might want to look into Thatcher. Parker is another one. Parker is number 4. Parker has 3,200 residents, very little crime, only 2 violent crimes in that particular year in Parker, Arizona. And now we have Douglas. Douglas, I believe, is towards the Mexico border, but I might be wrong. But Douglas comes in at number 5 safest town to live in Arizona. Oh, and I want to back up by saying Sedona, my beautiful town where I live, is not on the FBI list, and I don't know why that is. Were there no crimes? Because there are towns on this list with no crimes that are even smaller than Sedona. So I don't know how Sedona got overlooked. I would put Sedona on the list as safest places to live, but that's just me. I don't have the data to back that up, but I might look for that in a future video. So Parker, Douglas, now here we go. This is what caught my eye, is Clarkdale. Clarkdale is one of the Verde Valley towns. It's actually a very cute little town, about 4,400 residents. Right now, it's one of the areas where I see brand new homes going in. So Clarkdale's kind of, if you're in Verde Valley, you've driven through Cottonwood and you kind of veer towards Mingus Mountain Range like you're going to Jerome. And there's little town of Clarkdale. So safest town number 6. Safest town to live in the state of Arizona, Clarkdale, which is in Verde Valley. If you would like to see a home in Clarkdale, I certainly can show you one, and I just did that last week. I showed a house in Clarkdale. So interesting place and a very safe place. Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley has 14,000 residents, and there were only 10 violent crimes in Paradise Valley. All of those were aggravated assault, which, again, that's yucky. You beat someone up, you stab them, that's a aggravated assault. So, but only 10 in the 14,000 residents of Paradise Valley, which makes Paradise Valley number 7 safest town to live in the state of Arizona. And number 8, Marana. Wow. That surprised me. Marana is just north of Tucson. It has 48,000 people, so it's a significantly sized town, and yet there were only 35 violent crimes in Marana in 2019, which is the last year the FBI has shown data. So Marana comes in at number 8. Number 9 is Fredonia. I've heard of Fredonia. I can't even tell you where that is. It's only 1,200 residents and they only had 1 crime, but that makes it a pretty safe place to live. If you're looking for a teeny tiny town, you might want to look up Fredonia, see where that is, because that is a very safe place to live here in the state of Arizona. So San Luis has 34,000 residents. That comes in at number 10. Had 33 violent crimes, 31 of those aggravated assault. Aggravated assault out of the violent crime buckets tends to be the biggest, more aggravated assaults, thankfully, than rapes and murders. All of it is bad. But anyhow, this is the list of the top 10 safest, and those were at the top 10. Now, I want to say number 11, because number 11 is Gilbert, Arizona. So I actually grew up in Gilbert. My family moved from New York City to Chandler back in 1970. And in about 75, 76, they decided to relocate to Gilbert. So I went to the Gilbert public school systems. I actually graduated Gilbert High School when we were a very small school, less than maybe 1,000 students. I mean, very small school. I graduated from Gilbert High School. Now it's huge. Now Gilbert has, what do we have here? 253,000 residents. There were like 8,000 residents when I lived in Gilbert. Okay, so now that's probably the record highest growth that we've encountered. Gilbert, Arizona. Anyhow, only 245 violent crimes, which is of course too many violent crimes. But hey, Gilbert, honorable mention, coming in at the number 11th. Okay, so I want to back up for a second, let you know I sell real estate here in northern Arizona, and 2 of the towns came on the list as the safest places to live in Arizona, and one was Oro Valley, which I do sell Oro Valley, and the other is Clarkdale, which I do sell Clarkdale. That's part of Verde Valley. So if you are interested in real estate anywhere in northern Arizona, I'm putting my contact information below in case you have a question, and I do post videos of this type every single week on my channel, Living in Northern Arizona. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please come back again next week when I post something new, and I would always appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. So that's it. Have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed this video.